Hi there, guys, and welcome to the Newell Week 1 prize playoffs brought to you by SteelSeries and Intel, as well as Twitch Student. And I'm joined today I'm Zach, of course, and I'm joined today by the fantastic co-caster and Pulio.
Hello there, Zach. I'm glad you remembered your own name. I'm glad you remembered mine. It's certainly a delight to be here, hoping for a smashing game, and well, I hope the teams can deliver, and I hope we can deliver with a good cast. Certainly looking forward to it. It's going to be our first cast together, and well, hopefully it'll go well. Hopefully it'll go well.
Yeah, not starting off well for getting my own name, of course, but we're going to be going into a best of one today for our first game in the double elimination bracket between Durham Defenders and Swansea Storm Tacos. Two teams, I think we've seen Swansea Storm on stream before. I'm not sure about the Durham Defenders, but both of these teams have got fantastic quality to them. I think we were discussing that before the stream, and I'm really looking forward to see what we get and what map it's going to be on in the future.
Yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to that veto to see if we can get some variety and some spice and see if there's anything different or if it is the usual Inferno or Overpass. It'd be nice, but also I'd take them over Dust 2, as I've said plenty of times before. But yeah, as you said, we were discussing before that these teams have got a lot of talent. I mean, obviously that's why they're here. It's the prize playoffs. These guys, these teams in the playoffs at this point are the best out of, what's it, like 90, 100 odd teams. So this is the creme de la creme of Uni CS. And well, hopefully we'll see that in the server. I'm certainly looking forward to it. And as you said, Swansea, they've got quite a good, I think, record so far. I believe they did win in the summer, and have won previously in before that. So it's certainly going to be a challenge for Durham to try and knock off the champs.
Yeah, I mean, Swansea have shown time and time again that they are up at the top, and Durham, I think, relatively new in terms of their ability in this. I think to get into the top 8, that's sort of top 10, 8% of teams. Very impressive for them to get here for one of the first times, definitely. And I'm sure that they're going to want to show something, especially in a best of one series that, as we know, it can go really anywhere. Anything can be done in a best of one series. It's never really for certain somebody can nab a game from someone. And when you're in that lower bracket, you're there for good.
Yeah, that's something again we were talking about just before. That best of ones can be so volatile, so easily just shifted. If you lose to an eco that you shouldn't have done, your economy goes in the bin. It can all go sideways, and you can just lose rounds that you shouldn't have. And obviously, if they're rounds that count in the end, you can lose that. You go down to the lower bracket, and it's going to be very hard to fight your way out of that. If you lose there, you're out of the tournament. So it's despite being a best of one, it's a very important matchup for both teams. And if Swansea get knocked down, it might be a bit of a shock, but could be a bit of a, I don't want to say Cinderella story, because obviously they're certainly one of the favourites, but it'll be a good narrative to watch, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking through the team's stats before coming into this one, and I think Durham actually have more wins coming into this game through the Swiss than Swansea do. I'm fairly sure they've got one more win than the Swansea team. So, you know, as much as we're hyping up Swansea as the favourites coming into this one, Durham have actually done better. And the games that they've lost, they lost a little bit more convincingly in a way that you know they got 10 11 rounds against top teams, whereas Swansea I think only pulled off I think 6 rounds against the UWC Stags, something around there. Like they've really struggled against some of those top teams that we've got going on in the rest of the bracket. And sort of talking about the rest of the bracket, I think probably we at this point should probably jump into the bracket and just show everybody exactly what we've got going on today. So of course, at the moment we're in that third bracket at the bottom there. So whoever goes into this one goes into a best of 3 against one of those other 2 teams on there. So that's G12 or the other team. And then of course we've got on the other side of the bracket UWC Stags playing. And the Portsmouth Paladins as well, you know, 2 teams that I think we're expecting to see near in and around the top. Being you and a half men as well, I think we've seen them enough in and around the top of Newell to assume that they're probably going to be near at least the grand finals. Definitely going to be challenging, well, as all of these teams will in the top 8.
Yeah, that's certainly a way to put it. Nicely talked through there. As yeah, it's certainly gonna be very difficult to see who quite goes through and who will be facing off. I think both matches, we have selected them specifically for the best match that we're hoping for. So hopefully both best of one and best of 3 tonight can deliver. But first off, we obviously will be getting into that best of one. Do you have any predictions at all on the maps and the veto? I think we'll be getting to that soonish. I don't think it's quite out as of yet. Do you have any idea at all? Do you any predictions? What are you hoping for? We said preferably not Inferno Overpass.
Yeah, so I was just looking through the bans of these teams, the things that they sort of get rid of very early. I think Ancient is one that we're probably not going to see today. Neither of these teams seem particularly comfortable on it. But in terms of what they've been picking, we've seen a lot of Inferno, we've seen a lot of Overpass, and then bizarrely enough, Nuke has actually been on sort of these guys. They've let it go through the ban, and they've played it a couple of times through the Swiss. And it's a map that actually, just looking through history of previous seasons of Neo, they've also been pretty comfortable to play, actually more so than they're playing now. So it's something that we could see a Nuke play. I think Swansea, actually, we saw them play on Nuke last week, I'm fairly sure. And they do look good on it. It's something that we know they are good at. And something I'm sure that they're going to try and force it to will be one of those three maps. I think they're really a good mix of that kind of puggy style and then the more tactical elements that you're more likely to see on a map that's newer in the pool, like Ancient, or I guess like Nuke, even though that's what, like 4 years old now maybe. So definitely I think these guys are kind of steering towards kind of riding that line rather than just looking for headshots on Dust 2 and sort of leaving it there.
Yeah, time to certainly fly in regard to the Nuke, and even Vertigo. I think it's been like what 2 years now or something. Remember
Yeah.
when it was just an absolute mess of a map? But here we are with Ancient, and talking about Ancient, you say it's been sort of banned. What I would like to see, I feel like it's not likely, but someone thinks, oh, they'll ban it, but then they'll ban it, and then we end up on Ancient. That would be total chaos. It'd be very funny to see, but yeah, I feel like it's not quite likely, but it's certainly possible in the best of three. If one team isn't like, what, we're not that comfortable, we're not uncomfortable, it may get through and be that deciding map. If obviously, if you get to that deciding map, so it's certainly possible that could happen there. In this best of one, not so likely. As you say, something more familiar with the teams, they're going to be wanting to play on a bit of home territory, and obviously with the two bans, that's three, yeah, three each. So you get to 7. It should be something that they're quite familiar and happy with. And I would like to see some sort of a wrench, like if we haven't seen too much of like Durham playing on Nuke or whatever, or perhaps Vertigo, if they somehow let it go through and they've been banning it this entire time, if they let it go through and then turns out they've been practicing on it, that would be a lovely upset. But that is a lot of wishful thinking, and it could happen. But we'll certainly have to find out. It's certainly I'm hoping, fingers crossed.
I was going to say myself, actually, just on that top thing that you just brought up then, there are teams that are going to have scrimmed in the off time. They've given away a couple of their tactics going into the Swiss, and then it's time now in between the Swiss and the prize playoffs to completely overhaul the maps that you're playing on, catch a few people by surprise, and maybe make them think that you're just trying to stalemate out at Ancient and wait for them to ban it, and then actually you've been playing it this whole time. You've been scrimming on it, and it's your secret pick all along, and you're never going to ban it. You're going to let it run through. I think that's more likely to be seen on the best of threes. Obviously, the best of ones, usually both teams are going to be comfortable on the map. It's pretty rare that we're going to get fantastic anti-stratting on this one where teams are going left and right and working things out. I'm sure that we are going to see one of Inferno, Overpass, or Nuke. Honestly, I think there's a chance. I think Durham play on Mirage a few times, but Swansea don't look particularly comfortable on that map, so it is likely going to disappear. I don't really see it coming anytime soon. I mean, yeah, it's probably one of those three.
When you said about the surprise thing, and obviously we talked about it, that just makes me think of flashbacks to one of the majors that Astralis win, when it's just like Astralis picks into Vertigo, and Liquid like, what? That's it would be very funny to see, but as you said, that's certainly more likely to come along later on. In the meantime, best of ones, a bit more scrappy, and we'll certainly have to see how the players sort of play. We were talking about their sort of the potential of different players, and certainly in the UWEC stags, there's some. Yes, it is. It's not easy to say at all. There's some big players that I personally know from, or I've heard of, sort of thing, from outside the uni scene and more in sort of other companies like ESA and whatnot. So it's in those sort of players, obviously you're expecting a high demand, whereas these ones, they're good players. I've not heard too much of them, and it's certainly going to be down to an element of who shows up on the night. Because at this sort of level, obviously some players can just pop off. You'll just get a guy who just goes 30 bomb, drops off. Other people who somewhat struggle. So it's certainly going to be an element of obviously the tactical side, who's practiced the most, but also who's just hyped up on the night, who's going to be hitting their shots. And hopefully we'll get some very nice flicks, some very nice headshots, some very nice taps, as well as some very nice and well executed, well planned out executes to sites. We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
I mean, yeah, it's the best of one. It can go anywhere. I mean, coming into this one, I'm sure that both teams are going to have prepped quite hard for it, especially going into the prize playoffs, right? These are the top 8 teams. But, I mean, we've mentioned this already. I want to bring it up again. Whoever loses this game, if they aren't warm enough coming into this one, if they haven't warmed up enough, if they haven't played, scrims coming into this one, they're in the lower bracket for the rest of the tournament. That's it. And they're going to go into the grand finals, I think, with a 1-map disadvantage. So it's not going to be simple for them, really, if they do lose this one. This is a lot rides on this best of one. It isn't like, something that they can throw away, like in the Swiss, where maybe they're on 9 out of 10 games already, so they can afford to lose one. It's not that anymore. They lose this one, that's them at a disadvantage for the entire rest of the tournament. So all of these players, I'm sure, are going to be at peak what they can do. I'm sure that they've been practicing a lot. I'm sure that they've been scrimming a lot, because I can't imagine any of these, especially with some of the names that we do have in here. I know that you've spoken about the Sea Stags already, but Ionsto I'm looking at now. He's been in Newell for the last 3 years. Atomical has been in and around Newell for a couple of years as well. Tedbog as well. So they know what rides on these games. They know what they're like, and I think they're definitely going to be taking this quite seriously coming into this one.
Yeah, you would hope so. You would certainly hope so. And considering what it's now 7:30, they've had plenty of time to warm up, and if they're not warmed up, I'm slightly worried for them. And hopefully that shouldn't be any sort of an excuse for anyone who doesn't quite perform. Obviously, you won't be going too hard on them, as that's a bit too mean. As an update, there's currently 9 people on the server waiting for the 10th, and I believe waiting for the veto as well. So for all you eager beavers out there waiting for this match to kick off, that is a bit of an insight into the current inner workings. I'm not quite sure. Someone actually said in chat, Swansea Storm Tacos. That's their name. I don't know if it's always been that. I don't know if you've got any insight on that. Bit of a detail. If you talked enough about the veto, we talked about the players. Not too much you can talk about now, but tacos?
I think they were Taco Bridge esports last summer, and then they decided to. Going into this one, obviously, there's about 8 different Swansea Storm teams. I'm fairly sure, was it Swansea Storm Black, I think, almost made it into the prize playoffs as well. Just a testament to the talent at Swansea. And yeah, so the Swansea Storm Tacos that we have here, not just Swansea Storm, because there's about 8 Swansea Storm teams. Just to clarify, yes, it's Swansea Storm Tacos, but it's a little bit of a mouthful. I will just be calling them Swansea or Swansea Storm for the rest of this stream. I am sorry, guys. It's just going to be a little difficult to constantly refer to them as the Tacos or Swansea Storm Tacos. So just to update chat on that one, if there's uproar about that already.
I googled it. Googled Swansea Storm Tacos, and actually, I assume what they're named after is a renovation of or just a brand new bridge that was in Swansea. It looks like a taco. It's very weird looking, very funny, but I understand the joke now. So I appreciate that name. Very cool, very cool name, and hopefully they can live up to their name and give us a delicious show, I guess.
Hopefully that is a taco bridge. That is a real taco. Wow. Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna get our veto very shortly. I mean, yeah, it won't be too long on this one. I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about really coming into this one. Anything about the maps that we're gonna pick, or the style of the play that we've seen. I don't know if you've got any more to go off here, Aunt Pulio. I mean, I've sort of exhausted my notes already. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I've got a comment from Baby Daddy saying blame Newell admin has for being long, so maybe direct your DMs towards him if you are waiting. Also, don't hold me accountable. That's from one of the players in the server. That's not me. And yeah, I think it is. Oh, is that? I mean,
yeah. So we've got Hazard in here. Our vetoes will be coming very shortly. And actually, I can't believe that I've forgotten to bring up Hazard, because Hazard has been a force throughout Newell for quite a long time. I think Taco Bridge back in the day when he was, about 6 months ago, when he was playing for Taco Bridge rather than Swansea Storm Tacos, he was really one of their better players going into winning that. Very, very impressive stuff. And at the time, there were a couple of, a few sort of upsets in that one. I think the Sea Stags ended up crashing out in the semi-finals, so a little bit easier for Taco Bridge Esports just in general. But either way, Hazza was a real force in that one. Anyway, I think I think we've got our vetoes just below me right now, so we're going into this one, and there goes Inferno straight away. So after me talking about how it was going to be one of Inferno overpass on Nuke, we've lost Inferno straight away.
That's very interesting. It's I mean, apparently not an Instaban, but Mirage, I mean, that's relatively expected. Most people, I think more the higher teams don't like Mirage too much. It's too puggy. Like, you don't want to leave it down to just Angels. If you're a coordinated team, get it out of the map pool, play with what you're comfortable with. Inferno, as I said, slightly, it's similar to Mirage, but not to the same degree. You do need a lot more coordination. But yeah, interesting ban, as we hopefully we'll get into picks soon. They are certainly thinking about this.
Overpass as well.
Well,
I mean, I look very silly right now, don't I? I mean, I was talking about 3 maps. The only way I get saved now is if neither team bans Nuke. I think they're either listening into the stream on the warm-up just to embarrass me, or I've got this completely wrong, and they've been scrimming in the meantime and doing exactly what I was talking about, which was changing their map pools. I mean, Swansea Storm have completely changed what they were going to go on, and there's the Ancient ban as well. Neither team wanted to leave that one in, and we saw it go, but I think that's proof that we could end up seeing Ancient in one of these best of 3s in the future, considering how late that went into the ban there.
Yeah. Like as we said, it's something that perhaps they're not confident on, but not something they're not confident on, but not something that they hate. So they can take it, they can bash away on it for the 3rd map. Vertigo has been banned, unfortunately. It's a fantastic map, but the Tacos don't want to take it to that. They don't want to be fighting up in the skyscrapers, up in the heights up there. So what maps do we get? We've got Dust 2.
Dust 2 and Nuke. Oh, those are the 2. Fingers crossed we see a Dust 2 ban, because I personally don't love Dust 2 either. And there we go, that's Nuke. And now I look smart again, because we've had the 3 maps that I talked about. While 2 of them were banned straight away, we go into Nuke. That's of course, the pick of the Durham defenders in the way that they didn't ban it at the end. So Dust 2 removed from the pool, but I think we get a little bit of insight as to what we're going to see into these best of 3 series going forward with all of these maps banned at the start. I mean, completely the opposite of what they've been banning across the Swiss so far, with the exception, of course, of Nuke, where both of these teams do seem pretty comfortable.
Yeah, it's... we were saying again before the stream about how Nuke can be played and how tactical it can be, and obviously it's very reliant on, despite it being quite CT-sided, if you lose a guy early on the CT side, that's so punishing. And unless you have your rotations like sort of narrowed down and nailed down, and you know exactly what you're doing, the T's can just run amok and completely ruin you. And obviously at higher levels, in the pro scene, they just do it so flawlessly. They know exactly what they're doing. Oh, a guy's been lost outside. We'll change this. We'll go downstairs. Whatever. Or through the vent, more accurately. It's smooth. It's flawless. Whereas here, there's a lot more room for error. So on the CT side, as I said, expected to usually be easier, but it can certainly be quite difficult. And it's certainly something that I'm looking forward to seeing. It can go either way. It could be an absolutely dominant CT side, or it could just be an upset and 8 T rounds. It's certainly I'm looking forward to it.
I think it oftentimes as well, it just relies on either, a very competent ramp player, because of course they're the sort of guy that has to, drop down onto B and call to the rest of their team exactly what's going on and towards ramp, especially if there's a lot of very early aggression from the T side. And then from the T side perspective, just getting outside and having a solid hold of outside, because it throws up in the air as to how the CTs, what map control they have and where the Ts can be in and around the site. And so I think there's obviously... I think I say this every stream, but Nuke is, of course, a little bit more of a chess game in terms of how the CTs have to move around and rotate around these sites after a player's been lost, especially. Oftentimes we speak about how a 1-for-1 trade actually favors the T side, but on Nuke, extremely so. I mean, opening up any area of the map on Nuke is really detrimental to a CT side, and if they don't know how to rotate properly, it's something that can really come to bite them.
Yeah, that's basically perfectly said. I can't add too much more to that. Like, if you've got the guy on ramp goes down, that's access to hell. It can just go down to B. It's so tricky. And as an update, Durham defenders did win the knife round, so it's certainly going to be a test for them to make sure that they can rotate correctly, that they can hit the kills and hit the shots and perform just how they need to. As we do finally get into it, best of 1 tonight, Durham defenders versus Swansea Storm Tacos. Hoping for a wonderful matchup and a smashing game.
And we see a kit picked up on Arbor straight away. The one player picking up utility as the T's actually looking to blister out onto that A site. And one player tasked with holding it as the rest in towards the mini position. Trading 1-for-1 on the site, but Iron Osto gets 2. And Atomical just going to be hiding underneath as the 2 players on the CT side with a lot to do here. Aiden taking the fight, peeking in for 3 players, all going to be peeking out for him, and loses his head in response. Arbor, and well, Arbor's not going to get anything done. Swansea Storm and the Tacos start off strong, pick up that first round, all important for the T's, and ruin the Durham defenders.
Yeah, very important to get that pistol, and they're actually fully investing into the second round. Obviously, I mean, why wouldn't you? And 3 AKs picked up. That's slightly unorthodox, slightly unexpected, because not a lot of util there at all. So hoping to just take the infights and win them, and that's not always something you want to be doing versus pistols, versus deagles, especially on nuke. They can be sitting on the hut. They can be sitting in every odd angle and doing things like that. Aiden, along with 7k, nice kills early on. Blink and you miss it. Swansea Storm, they're down to 2 guys. Both have got AKs, both relatively healthy, but they've got to fight their way through this and stay in this match, because that's the worst thing to do, basically. That's the nightmare scenario in CS. You win the pistol, you lose the follow-up, then you've got no money. You're in the bin, and Arbor's got a bit of a bite. He does get 1 more kill. Atomical, having to clutch 1v4, does get the first trade onto Arbor, but he's going to find 3 more guys.
I mean, 20 seconds, and already the T's are struggling, but Atomical, I mean, what an awful position for him just in general. Swansea Storm have absolutely fallen apart early, and just Atomical probably going to get caught out by the player just above him. He is looking towards it, though. And the player just waiting for Atomical to push out. It's not going to be easy, though, as low on HP, and Atomical gets the kill, a second one as well. Loses a lot out to that Mac 10, though, hiding in and around the site. Atomical pulls the headshot out of nowhere, a 1 versus 3, and the Durham defenders, how have they lost that one, being in a 4 versus 2 earlier in the round?
That's unbelievable. You can't lose that. You can't lose a round like that at all. At this stage of the tournament, you can't be losing fights like that. 4v1, you know where he is, or like 4v1 and then a trade into a 3v1, you know where he is. And just losing the fight, it shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen at all. And obviously, that's going to be very hyped for the Swansea team, as Hazard just runs straight through into a giant army of USPs. He will go down instantly, but the bomb's already been planted. It should be a done round, as the rest of them, they just need to fire away, spray through the smokes, and stop Durham getting into it and stopping them trying to attack the A bomb site and retake it. It looks like a done round, but I can't believe that. You said about Atomical being in Newell for however long and being so consistent, and he just shows it there. Straight up second round, and he gets a 4v1.
He's been a player that's been struggling a little bit as well in this season of Newell specifically. He actually had quite a lot of skill in the past, but I don't think those best-of-1 series in the Swiss have really been suiting him so far. I think the first game especially he sort of struggled on, but I mean, coming into this one, the skill to pull off a 1 versus 3, and it's hopefully opened up the game for him as Swansea Storm pick up their 3rd round of the game. A little bit predictable that they were going to pick that one up, and well, we can see it instantly. Hazard not going to be upgrading on the Mac 10 and keeping just 1 smoke to his name, going to be going very aggressive in some area of the map, I'm sure, as he starts to push out towards Squeaky, but has been mollied off early, so not going to actually get that plant off, but runs through the smoke and will be causing a little bit of issue for the CTs. Going down to 12 HP, though, as he dumps down into the vent, and this is where the Durham defenders rotate. It's going to be challenged a little bit. Arbor going to rotate down to B, but Ionostu getting the kill on ramp in return. A 1-for-1 trade, though, as Baby Daddy starts pushing down, sees the player on the ramp, and gets the kill. And the Durham defenders left in a 4 versus 3. The one saving grace for them is that the Swansea Storm players, 2 of them, are only on 10.
Yeah, that's certainly a saving grace, but I mean, at this level, when everything's just headshots, that's not going to make a difference. Baby Daddy can just sit in the corner, and he just instantly one-tap whoever goes through there. It's not nice at all. Hexen will catch off Tedbog. That's the AWP actually going down. A bit of a misplay from him. And 3v3, they've actually got a chance here now. We don't have to get on any of these 3 players. They've got a lot of util, but they're taking a lot of time, and I think they'll realise that they are just going to be saving. They'll make the call, and they will just slip away. And it's not a bad round. Keeping hold of 3 weapons, that does mean they can buy up and force around these in the next round. Have a bit of a better chance. And Swansea, their money's not fantastic either. So Durham, despite being down 4-0, it's it's not too bad. It's not the worst case scenario. They can get back into it straight away, and they can break Swansea's bank relatively soon.
I mean, a big round for Swansea nonetheless, though. I mean, with the weaponry that they had, a Scout and a Mac-10, they're going to be pretty happy that they won that one. And the Durham defenders, I think if they knew just how low the Swansea Storm players were on, even with the amount of time on the clock, they might have considered going for it. I mean, 2 players on HP that low, I think that the Durham defenders potentially had a chance, but not that that matters too much anymore. We come into this one almost like a full reset with every single one of those players, well, still picking up pretty impressive weaponry. Iron Ostu on the AWP again, but once again, Swansea Storm abusing in towards bottom of B, but Hazard this time gets caught out by Iron Ostu, this time not playing in towards ramp, and this time getting the kill. Swansea Storm, though, come back biting hard as Atomical picks up 2 and another kill in towards Mini. At the moment, Aiden takes that face and gets 2, in fact, as Vornes and Tedbog left in a 2 versus 1 and instantly have the site only 30 seconds into the round.
That's such a quick take, and it's very nice for Swansea to take the initiative, but now Durham have to take the initiative back. They do drop a smoke at Squeaky, and that does mean Vornes has to try and rotate, and Osto can hop out of the vent quite safely with the AWP, and Vornes down low. He can't do anything, and neither can Tedbog. Only 1 kill, and that does mean Durham do get their first around the board. They've got the kits. They've got plenty of time for the defuse. And it's not a bad retake, not bad at all. Only losing 1 guy. And it was nice for Atomical to really make that play. He's got 10 kills at the moment. 10 kills in 5 rounds. That is absolutely gorgeous. Hazard, we did big him up as well, but slightly struggling at the moment, yet to get on the boards. And, well, he has the AWP, and hopefully, well, he's hoping that he can try and get an opening pick. It's going to be very, very important that he does make good use of that weapon. As I said, their money's not fantastic, and if they lose this, I don't think they'll be able to squeeze out another buy.
We've seen this happen with Hazard before, though, in previous seasons, and he always struggled early on, but then when he does come alive, he comes alive in a major way. He just needs 1 of those clutch rounds, and I'm sure he'll be right up there on the board. I've cursed him now, but Swansea Storm peeking and prying in towards the A site, hoping to maybe pull off a stray bullet and a headshot on towards the mini player, but Aiden just staying passive as Baby Daddy and Atomical just searching in towards Hut at the moment. Not really all that much going on in contrast to the early periods of the other rounds at the moment. Neither team have taken a face, but Atomical going to open up early on. His leg is seen early, though, by D on top of those rafters, and Swansea Storm now at a 1-man disadvantage, but starting into this one, Aiden gets a kill. Baby Daddy replies with a kill on Hex and swings into Aiden, though, and can't get another one as Aiden doubles up his tally for the round. Hazard starts pushing in towards outside, and his teammate in Tedbog, though, well, now it's all left on Tedbog in towards Mini. He knows where 1 player is, but he's not got the utility to flush him out, and with 35 seconds on the clock in a 1 versus 4, it's likely not going to go too great for him, and, well, definitely not going to go too great for him with D hiding in and around the rafters still. Didn't even move into that round, and 30 seconds left on the clock. Swansea Storm lose it, and Durham defenders double up.
Yeah, that's a nice play. That's a very nice play from Durham, just taking it patiently. Taking it slow, sitting there. Aiden, he's gone big quite well. You know, he's been fragging very recently, getting some nice numbers, and that's very good to see. Very important frags that he's been getting. And as I said about the money, well, you can see Swansea, they're broken, they're going for a rush, and they're running through the smoke. Arbor will get 2. Atomical, obviously Atomical, will frag him back. A nice headshot with the Tech 9, picks up the AK, can continue through to B. Tedbog, he's getting curious. He's looking to push through. That's down to hell as Hazard tries to walk out onto the A, trying to pull the wall over Durham's eyes. It won't work out. And if only he'd waited a bit longer, Tedbog, he's looking to go for a flank, and I don't think Durham know he's here, so he can actually try and get the drop on Ironstone. It's certainly possible. Atomical looking to go back around A as well, trying to go for a bit of a pincer, but Tedbog, he's dropped. Ironstone so aware of it, and he's once again thrust into a 1v4, and he's gonna... Yeah, it's going to need a bit more to try and get out of it this time. 4 proper weapons he's going against, and he opens up onto the A side. He doesn't see his gun barrel, and eventually does realise, turns back. I'm sure the call was made. He'll react, hit the headshot onto D, can get the plant at least. It's not a bad start as he does swing wide, looking to try and find anyone he can, looking towards Heaven. Doesn't realise someone's got his back to him, and Aiden, he's just waiting for the perfect opportunities. They swing out of Heaven. He'll go back into the hut. He'll play from there, hitting the first headshot, spotting out the second, but can't quite fire away. Demoli will push him back. He can stick the defuse, and Ironstone will. Atomical can do nothing about it, and he'll stick it. And Atomical will let him. That's the third round for Durham. Damage done in a plant for Swansea, but not quite the win.
The money really getting carried away for the Durham defenders as well. Look at Einstow, 9k, and on an AWP as well. That means that you can buy 2 more of those into the next round. And Hazard's, I mean, his flanks are just not working out at the moment. Norton 5, and it doesn't really look like it's getting much better for him, pushing out onto A that round with a lurk. And the Durham defenders just ready for that one. The player on the rafters continually catching them out. But Swansea Storm going to change it up a little bit now with all 5 players sprinting in towards outside. Atomical leading the charge as well, sprinting as fast as he can. But this time, the AWP not prepared. None of them set up on the double doors. Well, I take that back. Einstow gets the main frag of the Swansea Storm team. Vornes going to be pushing out, though, with the rest of his team on towards the site. The bomb actually already going down on the site there. And the smoke allows for a safe exit. Einstow searching, though, for this AWP kill as he calls the rest of his team. That the B bomb site has been fully opened. Tedpog gets one, though, hiding in pretty obvious position there. Arbor at least trades him off and searching for the kill on towards the site. Gets one. Vornes and Hazard now left in a 2 versus 4 situation with the Molotov. 1 kill for Vornes, spraying down through that smoke, and then for whatever reason decides to stick it. Hazard gets one, and it's all left on D. Just going to have to try and defuse the bomb. Hazard actually very slowly going through here, but decides to spam the smoke and doesn't let that round go in favour of the Durham defenders. But what are they doing? All 4 players looking in towards Decon, and somehow Swansea Storm have robbed that one away.
That should not have happened. The retake was pretty slow until then. Obviously, a bit of an overlook. I think it was from Arbor. I think it was Hexen who didn't check the very basic expected position in the cubby. But it was a nice trade frag back. But then 4v2, you can't lose that. You know one guy's at the door. You're assuming from somewhere else, but they just didn't expect it at all. They weren't looking for it. And you give it up, and you can't lose rounds like that. So Swansea Storm will take it with glee as they look to take this round as well. It's now a 4v4 as Arbor does at least get 1 kill before going down, and once again they are trying to go into the B site. It worked last time. Go for it again. Baby Daddy will plant in the open this time, and obviously they've taken ramps. They can just sit there and wait for Durham to come to them. Vornes holding the door. Baby Daddy looking to try and help him out, reinforce him, and give him a bit of a squeeze from behind. As Durham, they're taking their time to get in position, but they are going for this retake. They do have 2 kits available as the tiny door, the little squeaky does open. Hexen loses the fight at the window. Vornes fragging 2, and with that, Aiden will get a kill back, but he'll try to escape as they realise time is running low, and they're wanting to save. Aiden may get caught out here as well, but Tedbog, he just about misses him. For Swansea, they'll get to 6. They'll double up Durham's score, and Durham just looking a bit lost now after having a pretty good comeback, getting those 3 rounds. Looking a bit more flat now.
Much cleaner into the B site from Swansea Storm as well. They looked a lot better into that one, especially in the late round. They just had the players in the right positions. I mean, you can talk about, of course, round 8 in that one where Swansea Storm sort of came out of nowhere and won a 4 versus 2 and say, well, they did win it, but it was a little bit unconvincing in its nature. I mean, if the Durham defenders were a little bit better put together, they probably wouldn't. But Swansea Storm, in that one, I think you can have no complaints. They absolutely showed what they were worth in that, and they, you know, throughout the whole thing, they just looked better than the Durham defenders. They found their weakness, and they're going to take advantage of it as best they can. The Molotovs, the smokes, everything, all going in, and Hazard deciding this time not to lurk, and it's working out for him. I mean, at least he survives into that one, and maybe a sign of things to come as Durham defenders force into this one as well. Einstow picking up the AWP and Aiden on the M4. I think actually they saved into that one, didn't they? But Durham defenders, they are going to try and, well, of course, try and win this one, but they're saving into the next one as well with 2k on each of the players as Swansea Storm once again abusing outside and going straight down into secret.
And that's a nice kill from Aiden. Very, very lucky, but the 1 M4 does get a kill through the smoke. Vornes trying to dance and trying to fight Hexen, and this is a very tricky angle, a headshot as Hexen is trying to look for it and trying to find it. Hazard will get a kill outside in the meantime, but Ironstow fragging back. The M4's been dropped as well, so it can be recovered by one of the pistol players as Ironstow continues to sit here, posted up, waiting for someone to peek him, and Vornes and Baby Daddy are actually thinking about it. They're sticking around, as Vornes will get 1 kill back to clear up secret. 3-on-3. It's a costly round for Swansea, and it's still possible for Durham to take it. Tedbog will look to try and lurk around to ramp. Arbor's aware of it, but it's all about timing. It's entirely about timing. If he sneaks around, goes to hell and goes to heaven, he can get a free kill onto Ironstow, but that's if he does, and it looks like he will. This is entirely on timing. And Einstow, he might be aware of it. Arbor's looking the wrong way, and Einstow, he's not aware of it at all. Pop down, swing out, and he'll go down to Tedbog. And that is the other key weapon out of the round as D's picked off, and leaving Arbor by himself in a 1v3. Two players quite tagged, so it's certainly possible he can take it. And picking up the kit and the AUE does mean he has a chance, but first, he has got to tackle the first hurdle, that is Tedbog, and he's just sitting in heaven waiting. I don't think he's not really up to that. He's going to save it.
I think the smart move, in all honesty, I mean, what's better, trying to get one kill on towards Tedbog, or just saving this weapon worth 5k? I think that, you know, you'd have to get 2 in order for it to be worthwhile, and I'm fairly sure the Durham defenders value that AUE over anything else. And speaking of him getting 2 kills, he starts off with 1 on towards Tedbog in heaven as Tedbog shows his back, and I think Durham defenders just using this time now more as a time to talk about the tactics going into the next one more than anything else. But Arbor flashed off, and actually the T's are going to be pushing pretty aggressively into this one. The Molotov coming down, and both of them peeking at the same time. Arbor gets the double. And the Swansea Storm players, I mean, maybe not the best peak in the world. One of them probably should have been jumping going into that, but Durham defenders not going to be too upset, as Arbor picks up his 10th kill of the game in just as many rounds. And now finally we see a full buy, well, with Atomical actually on the Mac 10.
Yeah, it looks like they're going for a rush straight down to A. Work before, so it may work again as Hexen's watching the wrong way. Vaughnez will take down his teammate. The A-bomb site is theirs. Just as I was thinking about saying how it's not actually a bad round from Durham's perspective. They take down all the guns away from Swansea. They've got a decent buy themselves. And it falls apart. An A-rush, a very simple A-rush coming out from Swansea. And Durham's dreams are dead. Nice little bit of alliteration there. It's not so nice for Durham. Certainly not at all. They will just be, once again, saving. There's no chance you're going to be getting into the A-bomb site. And I say they're going to be saving. They're going to be trying to save. Hazard's already on the hunt. He'll take down Aiden outside. And for a save, it's very disjointed. They're not even together. There was one guy outside, actually one guy at ramp and one at heaven. You just want to be meeting up, right? You want to be collecting together and just holding as many angles like from the same position as you can. Not to get picked off. And Arbor just standing next to the bomb site will blow up and die. It's only the AUE saved. That's that. If you've got 3 guys alive to save, you can't lose 2 of them.
I think that's a little bit amateur in all honesty. I mean, all players, they're probably not doing their best work, and that is for sure. They maybe want to call a timeout and just sort of get their head in the game a little bit, because clearly not fully in it with that death to the bomb. I mean, what can you say? As Swansea Storm go and abuse outside once again, the AUE on Einstow will be looking in towards outside at the moment, but actually getting a kill on the other side of the map. All of the pistol players all pushing in towards ramp, and will be rotating round as Tedbog sees a player in towards the fence. We'll be calling that to his team as a spam from Aiden gets one and swings for a second one. Only going down to 15 HP and all of that, but trading 1-for-1 there. Atomical and Arbor, as the bomb actually down in an awful position considering the CTs. All 3 of them on towards ramp now with 1 on top of A, and Tedbog just going to be looking for one behind. Stowe isn't going to let sleeping dogs lie, as Vaughnez left in a 1 versus 4 in a round where the Durham defenders have saved. With 1 minute left, this doesn't look good for him in the slightest.
This is all with timing as well. Aiden down to 15 HP. Vaughnez has got his knife out. We'll bring out the AK. He just about spotted his gun, but now he's looking to try and chase Aiden when the bomb's already down on B. And as you said, a minute left. He could have gone out through secret outside and tried to go for a bit of a long flank, but he's not. He's just sticking around here and sticking around by the window, and they are broken, so we can try and sneak through, but there's 2 guys here. It is going to be tricky to get into it, and just when we were saying that Durham were looking amateur, Swansea go and do that. They go and blow it, and Durham, they steal around back, or look to steal around back. One is trying to recover it, but he won't. Arbor will eventually just dome him in the head and take the round in what they certainly shouldn't have won at all, but they do.
They won 2 eco rounds now. I think that's 2 that Swansea Storm have just let pass, and I mean, that would make up half the rounds that Durham defenders have won so far. I mean, clearly doing something right in those rushes, and Swansea Storm, considering they're just running in towards one angle on the map, I think that element of map control for the Durham defenders when they are pushing in and chancing it into one of these areas is catching Swansea by surprise, and means that they can't do what they're doing now by bullying their way into certain areas of the map. They're realizing that they're losing the rest of it, but Durham defenders not changing anything about this one as Tedbog sprints in towards ramp, and Einstow stops him directly in his tracks and actually doesn't really care so much about Hazard in towards B, because what can he do at the moment as he springs out? Well, I say what can he do? He can get one in the form of Arbor and will be searching for a second one. Vornes' flash maybe doesn't go quite to plan, but Einstow actually does eventually kill Hazard and sits in that Molotov for far too long and at the wrong time decides to back away. Vornes gets the headshot, and that's very well played by the Swansea Storm players taking B. Atomical left on 10 HP though, and how has Baby Daddy got that one? At least he's traded out by Aiden. And 2 versus 2. Atomical low on the HP though. Vornes catches them out, make that a 2 versus 1. Hexen left all with it to do and down in secret completely on the opposite side of the map to the Swansea Storm players as they start planting it on A.
This is certainly achievable. He does have the kit and hopefully getting the drop on Vornes as he does tag him down, spams through the edge of the vent, and now it's just Atomical left. But I was going to say, only 10 HP. That's all he needs. He can do it on 1, has got the headshot angle locked down. And he just absolutely nails him. That is perfectly played from Atomical. 16 kills. He has somewhat slowed in those recent rounds, but I mean, the rest of them, they've certainly stepped up. 9 rounds for Swansea on the T side of Nuke. That's nothing to scoff at, and they've still got a possibility to get 2 more. Durham, they hope to deny that, hope to at least get 6. They are buying into it, and Einstow once again with the AWP, and once again getting more frags. He's not stopping and isn't showing any signs of it at all. The rest of his teammates somewhat faltering, but Einstow certainly not. 2.0 KD now, 14 kills and looking for more. He is not shy at all. Probing that angle, sitting around, and he's got to be careful not to get caught off by Baby Daddy, who's quite up aggressively in the heart. He may be aware of it, but, well, we get to find out. A dink coming out into Vornes. He'll get taken down low. They're trying to get out through the hut, but it's not working. D will get 1, but only 1. Atomical fracking them back. Einstow still alive, though. He'll get his 3rd, and Vornes left on 4 HP and 1 V4. Gets the first, but nothing more. Harbour will finish him off, and Durham will finally get to 5.
I mean, carried through that one a little bit by Einstow, though. 3 kills in that round, looking very impressive, holding Squeaky, and not really any utility used from the Swansea Storm players to push him out in any way. There weren't any mollies, no flashes out of there. They just sort of ran in, and means that the Swansea Storm final buy is a little bit disjointed. I mean, 2 players without head armor into this one, and when they're against the M4A1Ss, of course, that does mean that they can die in 1. Normally it would do about 90, 92 damage, somewhere in that range, depending on, well, the range. So Arbor, with quite a lot to do, though, as 5 players peek into him and actually sees one, spots it, decides to back away in quite smart fashion. The Molotovs will stop them, and Einstow just searching for any players that maybe go a little bit too aggressive, as the Swansea Storm players actually not even going to go down in towards B. They make all of that noise, they pick up the AK, they start pushing their way out onto A. Hazard, though, loses out in that exchange, and 2 players staying in towards A at the moment. It means that it's left all on Baby Daddy's shoulder in a 1 versus 3 as exchanges go left and right. Ultimately favouring the Durham defenders, though, and Baby Daddy has dropped the bomb as well. They do know that it is going to be in towards here, and just waiting for Baby Daddy to make the first move rather than going out themselves and potentially losing out.
He needs to find this kill onto either Aiden or Einstow. She can go for the plant, but when you've got 3 different players all coming from possibly different angles, it's not likely that you're going to be winning it. So he needs to try and take these fights just like Atomical did. 1v1s, 4 separate 1v1s, and that's how you win it. And, well, it's a smart maneuver. Switching it out, going down to B with that door opening, he should have an idea of roughly where he is. And he will be planting safe. A few shots fired. Arbor not quite landing it, though, as he creeps closer and closer and waits for him to swing, and he can't quite get the spray. It's actually a fake plant. Baby Daddy swinging out, getting 1 more. Einstein will throw in the nade and tries to get the angle. There's a bit of damage, a nice amount of damage, but 6 minutes left in mag. He will have to reload, and at that exact time, Aiden will open the door and spray him in the back. Durham do get their 6th rounds, and not the best half from them, but it's nice enough recovery towards the end of the half.
Sort of maybe putting a plaster over a gaping wound at the moment with 3 rounds down on the CT side. It's not looking the best, but we have known this one to go in favour of the Ts in Newell so far. I mean, a few of them have sort of meant that, you know, 10-5s, 9-6s on the T side actually haven't been completely unable to have come back from, as we get a technical pause coming in from one of these teams. So might be just a little while. No idea on exactly what that is at the moment, but it seems like one of the players for Swansea has picked up a tech pause. And Yeah, a cheeky Discord crash coming to this. I don't think we see Discord crashes all that much, do we? But
No.
yeah, I mean, it gives us a little bit of a chance to talk about this one. I mean, Swansea Storm, of course, they've looked a better team, but I mean, coming into the T side, I don't think we've, or the, you know, the of course the other half, I don't think we've seen anything from them that means that they're going to absolutely smash it on the CT side. A lot of it just came from, you know, the Durham Defenders players not really being, ironically, able to defend.
It's certainly very ironic, and well, they've done enough defending. Now it's time for them to attack. They're on the T side, they're on the pistol, and I wouldn't say a must win, but you've got to be wanting to get into it to try and make the most of this best of one, as Vornes will be making the most of this pistol round, getting 3 kills quite easily too. Baby Daddy will help out. Ironstow, the man who's tried to carry so hard so far, is now left in a 1v5. The bomb is nowhere near him. 1 minute 20 left on the clock. He does have time and the map to play with. He could go round over to the ramp position, but he's not yet doing that. He might be able to catch a Faunus here as well. He's jumping around, making a lot of noise like a clumpy elephant, and he will suffer the fate of one. Getting poached and shot in the head. That's 1 kill, but 4 more still needed. And Ironstow, his time is running out. 1 minute left as he's trying to pick up. There is Hazard up in heaven as there's a swing out from Mini, and Hazard will be taking the fight in the dirtiest angle possible. His head not visible. He'll just be shooting at his belly. The pistol one will be The pistol round, sorry, will be won by Swansea.
Well, thank God you didn't say that that was a must-win for Durham Defenders, because they didn't win it. They will be forcing into this one, though. I mean, they sort of have to at this point. 4 rounds down on the T side. It's not going to be easy for them, and it certainly isn't going to get any easier. The one saving grace is that they do have, you know, roughly about the same amount of utility as the Swansea Storm players. Of course, if Atomical or Ted Bog lose out early, then the Durham Defenders will actually have better utility coming into this one. So probably hoping for an early pick in some area of the map. Actually, I'd say that they're sitting quite passive at the moment. Not a single one of them going aggressive and just waiting for the Swansea Storm players to do what they did on the T side once again and push forward in an area of the map, as every player just plays that default, waiting for them to aggress in some area.
Yeah, it's not too uncommon for a sort of a lobby rush in the second round, but usually that's with a bit of a force. I mean, if you've got the superior weapons, if you've got 3 M4s and a FAMAS, you don't need to rush. You can just sit there and hold the long angles, and you can win those fights. Versus Deagles, you should be winning those fights versus the long angles. With Atomical, I mean, he's shown so far that I personally believe he is the best player, 17 kills. He's got the weakest weapon, but he can certainly make it work, as the smoke wall, as per usual, as per expected, is brought out, and Headbog, he will get 1 kill, but Ironstow is good with the trade back for the scout. Hazard will dominate on the A-bombs, like getting 2, locks it down, and puts Durham in a bit of a sticky situation. 2 guys left, Ironstow and Aiden. Deagle and Scout, not the best. They look to try and get into it. 30 seconds left, and there's a push coming out from Atomical. He's getting cheeky. He's pushing through. His Vornes will get tagged, and another tag coming up, but it's not quite killing him. 2 scout shots. He's not yet dead. They're dropping down the vent, and Vornes will finish him off. Aiden's running, though, and with the bomb out, he should be able to get there in time, trying to plant safely. He can't be stopped, so that's a nice find, but I don't think he's really expecting much more than that. Maybe a bit of damage, maybe a few kills, but it's not looking too likely. He will be playing around the doors. 12 kills at the moment. Hoping for 16, but that's not going to happen at all. Baby Daddy just spamming straight through. And Swansea, he will clean up 4 alive, despite 2 being very low. It's still 4 alive, and that's still good for the economy, as they do look to get it. They're only 5 rounds away. 5 rounds away from taking this victory. It is a best of 1. And they will stay in the upper bracket. And as we said at the start, Durham, if they lose this, they're going down to the lower. And it's a very tricky path to stay in the lower bracket and work your way through.
I mean, even with the bomb plant as well for the T's, it doesn't really mean all that much for them coming into this one. I mean, maybe it means that they can pull out armor again, but it'll only be half armor coming into this one. I mean, they're not going to really get all that much just in general, as the terrorists do end up calling a timeout. That is, of course, the Durham Defenders are just going to spend a little bit of time talking about exactly what's gone wrong and you know, what they can improve, because currently, well, I mean, I don't really know what they can talk about, really. They've only had 2 rounds to really get a chance, and I think maybe a little bit of a waste of a timeout coming into this one, considering they aren't actually going to have great weapons. I mean, this one really should be used more as just a way to probe into that CT defense, and get more of an idea of where they're playing and how they do their rotates, because, of course, they probably shouldn't get all that much out of this one, as the Molotov absolutely going to destroy them, and Bornes getting the kills through Mini. Once again, Baby Daddy getting one on the other side of the map. The CTs aren't holding anything back on them, as Arbor finally gets one in response, but it's probably going to be too little too late. It definitely is going to be too little too late with that one, as the Swansea Storm players pick up their 12th round on the board, and, well, it's getting from bad to worse for the Durham defenders.
This is that's the worst thing you see. Like when you just go to the point of view of the team who was in lobby, and then it's just like Atomical sliding out with the FAMAS saying, "Hi there," instantly headshots him, and you can tell Swansea are just feeling it. I mean, they're doing that as soon as they get 1 or 2 kills. I don't know why the molly wasn't smoked from Durham. That's a bit of an amateur move. But then Swansea, just as soon as they get 2 kills, straight in their faces, taking the fight to them. And Durham, they had no answer, they had no idea. And at the moment, it's continuing to happen that way. Baby Daddy does miss a shot uncharacteristically, and that will mean that he goes down, and Hexen will continue to be on a rampage. He finds Tedbog too, and they look to try and take back a round. Vaughners is trying to make moves at Secret. Ironstow's watching for it. And Durham, after a bit of a shabby round, they're trying to swing straight back into it, and so far, it's quite good. D getting another kill, Atomical left by himself, and a 1v4. Well, I mean, he's done it before. Why not again?
He has done it before, but this time the odds stacked against him. No kit on his person, only a FAMAS in his hands against 3 AKs and an AWP. I don't think he's really going to get all that much done from here, but there is, of course, always a chance as he takes that first peek and wins out, in fact. Picks up the AWP, though. Sorry, the M4, rather. I mean, I don't see a reason why he'd continue pushing in from here, but actually swings and somehow gets one. Hexen puts a stop to that one, though. And once again, I mean, you look at this, I think, just looking at the scoreboard quickly, I mean, you know, D and Hexen have been 2 players that kind of have been struggling a little bit for the Durham defenders, and when Hexen comes alive in that round and, you know, adds 50% to his score, he you know, they win the round. I mean, it's probably exactly what they're looking for, is just 2 of these players to show up just that little bit more and play a little bit more as a team, as Baby Daddy getting a lot of smokes down on towards outside and not really able to competently hold this one, as Hexen once again pushing forward. Baby Daddy just going to back away, but that flash is going to catch him out just that little bit. Not able to get around the corner, and it's left on Fornes in Mini, but Hexen once again picking up a headshot there, and these rushes outside are absolutely destroying the Swansea Storm players.
I love that in the chat, literally at the end of that round. Baby Daddy said, "Come outside again, I was late, luckers." And then they do go outside again. And then he still dies. That's hilarious to me. I don't know. But either way, 2 nice entries from Durham, but Swansea, they do have an answer back, and Tedbog only makes it worse. A nice nade, well placed and tightly put into heaven. Hexen will go down. Aiden will frag back, and with that, they will secure the A bomb site. And there's quite a long rotation, as one guy's already on B, and one guy's over at ramp. So we've got a long path here, trying to get back into the site. Ironstow as well, he's still alive, and as if he's alive, there's a constant presence on the map, as he does miss the shot, just about missing out on timing, and he will go down to Atomical. Clash of Titans, Atomical coming out on top, leaving it up to Aiden 1v2, and for some reason Hazard's taking his time, as Atomical's already on the site. He's throwing out the molly, he's throwing out the nades too. Aiden getting up close and can't quite hit the headshot. Atomical will come out on top, and Atomical will take Swansea to 13, a 3k for him, 24 kills. He is not stopping.
Pretty much a 1 versus 2 going onto that map with how slow Hazard was on the retake. Didn't matter though. Atomical, in the words of UKCS, is feeling it right now. He's doing a fantastic job. I mean, incredible scoreline from him, 24 and 10. We've talked about how well Einstow is playing, 19 and 12, but Atomical just blitzing him at the moment. And the CTs call a timeout as well, just to let that one marinate just for a little bit and let the T's know exactly what they've done wrong. I mean, I love seeing this when the CTs, or well, any team calls a timeout when they've just won a round. It always makes me feel good. I just feel like there's no other reason than to just let the T's know what they've done wrong.
Yeah, basically just making them sit on the naughty step and think about what they've done wrong and what they need to ponder on how to change it around. And I mean, it's fair. If obviously they won that round, it was mostly off the back of Atomical, obviously getting the 3k, but if Durham, if they tighten it up, and the outside takes have been good, so if they go for that again, but this time they don't let Atomical frag back, they can win the round. So it was Durham's to lose. But this round is certainly very different, as they're just fragging all across the place. Fornes Very cheeky kill, and he will fall back, dropping the molly. Baby Daddy finds one as well. Hex and Aiden are both quite low, as it looks like he's going for a bit of a probe. Baby Daddy trying to hold the ramp, he'll somehow get the flick. Vaughn is pushing as well. That'll drop the bomb. The nade is almost perfect. Takes Aiden down to 7 HP, pulls out the AK, but Vaughn is already there. He's got his M4 in hand, and after a brilliant start again, Durham, they just dropped the ball.
I mean, what happened? Genuinely, what happened? I mean, it was within about 30 seconds that round was over. Durham defenders, they showed some incredible kills early on, but Swansea Storm somehow coming out of the gate swinging managed to just completely end it, and Hazza picks up a Negev into this one as well, showing absolutely no respect. I mean, an MP9 on Tedbog as well, but the difference is that Hazza can afford an M4, just deciding to go on the Negev rather than anything else. I mean, clearly just wants to spray down, and you can see him there spraying down in towards a player, but Hexen doesn't mind, manages to get round that, picks up the AK. Baby Daddy gets the kill in response though, and Tedbog just holding down this hut position, doesn't realise that there are 4 players hiding in behind, as he sits quietly and will be calling to his teammates as he hears all 4 players pushing down that vent and just peeking in to see if anything's going on elsewhere.
Oh boy, he's biting back with that deal. I do love to see it. Atomical will get fragged back, but Baby Daddy in a headshot angle will go down. Atomical pushing a bit too aggressively. He falls to D's deal as well. Tedbog left in a 1v3, and he swings out. There's 2 guys there. Does get the first, almost getting the second down low. Pulls out the USB, expecting another peek. Swings back out, trying to finish off Aiden. But Aiden will come out on top and keeps keeping Durham's hopes alive. It's an odd situation. Really shouldn't be losing rounds like that. But Swansea, they're 2 away. They've got a nice buffer of 6 rounds between them and Durham, so they shouldn't be feeling too bad if they do go for an eco. Durham obviously fully kitted out, hoping to just try and dash Swansea's hopes and build up some momentum on this T side, but I don't think it's too likely.
The Negev coming back to bite them just that little bit. Atomical going to search for a refrag on Hazza though. Probably knows that there is a player in towards radio, but not peeking early, and Durham defenders just opening all sides of the map. The smoke going down outside as well, which Baby Daddy has been struggling with for a majority of this round. There we see Atomical on ramp losing out, and I mean, you can see here how the Durham defenders have managed to get into Baby Daddy's head. I mean, doesn't know where they can and can't be, hasn't taken the aggressive fight this whole round, or this whole half rather. Swansea Storm have been sitting pretty passive on outside, and it's not really worked out for them. Hexen eventually gets the kill on Baby Daddy and continues playing with his food just that little bit as the T's slowly make their way on towards B, and now are actually going to plant into this one. But it's been a very clean round for them, all of them just going slow on every side of the map rather than taking an aggressive fight, and I think it's probably going to end up converting into a full 5 players alive if I'm going to have any sort of guess here, as we've only got a CZ and a USP on both of these players, and Durham defenders aren't really giving them a hint at the moment.
Unless someone dies to the bomb. I'm pretty sure it was that Arbor in the last half. He was just sending it to the site, and then he died to the bomb exploding when he was saving. So, well, he will get the kill there, taking down Tedbog. Vaughners will find a kill back onto Aiden with the C. He's just trying to tap away, almost finishing off D, but he runs out of bullets. And, well, 4 will stay alive, and that is good enough. And despite apparently people getting upset over being called amateurs, that was a very nice round. As you said, Durham playing the anti-eco smartly, taking it slow. You can do that. You can use the util. You can work through it. And they did that perfectly. There's no rushes coming out, because if you just rush straight into a pistol buy of Swansea Storm, if they go through a rush now, that's just a crucial mistake in Swansea Storm. You'll just be torn apart by them. So it was very nice of them to do it then, and they look to be doing it once again. Ironso holding ramp with an AWP, hits the first shot, sees Atomical, will fall back, and does make the call for them to push straight into A. The molly's dropped as well. An expert play as they do drop down the vents and go towards B. The old switcheroo. And Ironso, this is slightly odd for him to stick around here, as Aiden is close to him. But if he goes down with the AWP, that is a free weapon for Swansea, which you don't quite want to give up.
As you were speaking about crucial mistakes earlier, Swansea Storm have double ecoed into this one. Only Atomical picking something up, and you've got to remember that is only a Mag 7. It's pretty useless as Baby Daddy. What a flick! Really nice kill, but at least Einstow gets the kill in return. I mean, it's actually really good stuff there coming out. from the Swansea Storm players. Einstow can't quite get that kill, but I mean, backed up pretty well there by Hexen, and Hazard left in a 1 versus 4, just looking for exits that probably aren't ever going to come this time. Of course, the defending team far enough away from the bomb to not instantly die to it, doesn't take any damage to that bomb, and does know exactly where they are, and just sort of saving the armor going into the next one.
Smart call from him. And as I said, it was very awkward there with the AWP. Like, if he didn't adjust, if Aiden didn't have his back, you could have given up an AK and an AWP there to the CTs, and that's not what you want to do. So it was nice and smart from Einstow to just drop back to T, and it's smart as well from Hexen to just slide up the vents and cover him off and stop them from saving the AK. Very smart play from him. Nice to see, you know, the little details, and that's exactly what counts, and that's how you win games of CS. As now it's only 4 rounds difference. There's a buy from both teams. Baby Daddy playing a secret peeks his head a bit too high, and Einstow will take that off. Clean shot and a nice opening as they look to wrap as well. Hexen already round near CT. Swansea, I don't think they quite know how tight that noose is. 3 guys on A and there's 1 guy at ramp, so Durham, they've got quite free reign. As they say that, Vornes will drop down to the vents. No one is yet to get through Seeker and get into B, so I don't think he realises that. But either way, he's going to be jump peeking. So Hexen, nice kill, and almost dies there to the AWPer. Legs and Tedbog will finish him off, but the call's been made as they can push straight into A. Aiden will find the frag. The site is clear, and Swansea, I think they're going to be saving.
I mean, if they do get a chance to think about what's going wrong into this one, as they do actually, we can see they have called a tactical pause into the next round, but yeah, it's just been really struggling outside. Hexen's been carving them open and not pushing down into secret, I think, is the most notable part of that. I mean, you know, getting secret control is one thing, but it's a position that the CTs can afford to give up. But giving up all of outside control, being able to be wrapped around in towards heaven, and giving up mini control as well, it means that Swansea Storm pretty much are boxed in towards the A bomb site, and it means that they can be sort of pincered from all sides by the Durham defenders players as they sort of vacate themselves away from the bomb site now, and they aren't probably going to get any kills into this one as the CTs just saved that M4 and AWP. But like I was saying, I think that the Swansea Storm players, they either need to give up outside completely and play more players in towards A, only 1 on ramp, and sort of hope that the Durham players don't rush down on towards B, which I think is a genuine chance, or they need to just pack outside because they are really struggling there. And Hexen specifically, a player that wasn't playing so well in the first half, has just come alive abusing Baby Daddy.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. He's certainly been abusing the outside control, and that is, as you say, it's something that Swansea need to have an answer for, because at the moment Durham are just running riot. They're just going straight through, going for the wraps, and I mean, you can lose, you know, outside, let them get to secret, but when you start losing the access to mini, you start losing the access to hell, it just becomes an absolute mess. And Swansea, they need to change it up. They need to get an answer for that. This round, I mean, I'm not going to count them out because they're Swansea Storm, but it's not looking like the best of buy. Hazard sitting there against the wall up high with the MP9. In these angles, obviously they only have pistols, they only have the SMG. It is a bit of a half, or it is an entire half buy with the 2 weapons saved across. They're not bad weapons in this position. Obviously they have the AWP and the M4 to back it up, so by no means should this be an easy round for Durham, and they need to take it slow, need to take it sensibly, and that's exactly what they're doing. Hexen, once again, looking to try and get some control outside. The rest of Durham are waiting in lobby, waiting for a push, and so far, Swansea, they're not giving anything away. 1 minute coming up on the clock. And now, Durham, they do begin to mobilise to decide what they're going to be doing. It looks like it may be a smoke wall coming out.
It's a smoke wall for not very much when they do throw that, though, because, of course, the CT players, I don't think, are really in a position where that smoke wall is going to mean anything. I mean, look at Tedbog playing over at Atomical. Maybe going to get picked off by Arbor, though. Wow, what a kill there from Atomical, and picks up the AK as well in response. Throws it up to his teammate, not going to keep hold of that one. And, well, actually, not too impressive on the throwing. Little T-Rex arms on the side of Tedbog, but I mean, gets a kill in response, though, and now the Durham defenders players, with not much time left on the clock, have to push in towards A. Tedbog jumping down at just the wrong time, though. Atomical going to swing, and it's all going in favour of the Durham defenders. I say that, it's a 1 versus 1, Baby Daddy versus Einstow. 2 AWPs, both players in very similar positions here, and that is not a fake from Einstow, and Baby Daddy knows it now that the bomb is down, just holding in towards Hut, but sees the leg as well of Einstein and
Oh my
misses
God.
the shot as he pushes through and towards her. And with no kit on his side, it's going to make it very difficult for him. Picks up the AK, swings, and Einstein misses the shot as well. A comedy of errors from both players, but somehow Swansea Storm come out of that one on top. And the 15th round that Swansea Storm pick up, it's messy, but at least they've got overtime.
I love the observer there. Shout out to Facecat for observing this game, which is well, certainly a mix of events. Those AWP shots should not have been missed by Baby Daddy, but he does recover, picks up the AK in a smart move and just wide swings or jumping up to take down Ironstow. A brilliant effort from Ironstow, especially Hexen, a 3k there. I think he was down to like 7 HP, 17 HP, something along those lines. Very low, and then still got 2 kills. That shouldn't be allowed to happen, but somehow he made it happen and gave Durham a chance. And if Swansea, if they lost that round, they'd be kicking themselves. A guy so low getting 3 kills and then Baby Daddy missing some, I would say relatively easy shots. Obviously he's better than me, but you've got to be hitting those. You've got to hit those. Either way, he recovers. That's the main thing. And Swansea do get to 15. They do get to that match point, and there's only 4 rounds difference between them and Durham defenders. So both teams have a chance as Durham do buy up. They've got plenty of money to, and they do look to rush straight in and straight through. Going outside a lot quicker this time, and Hexen's holding absolutely nothing back, running all the way through to CT. Baby Daddy trying to adjust, and he once again will go down. Not had much luck at all as Hazard joins him in the grave. 2 players picked off by Durham, and Swansea at this moment in time don't have an answer.
Everything that went right for them in the last round was almost exclusively because they had Atomical peeking up. That's awful. But the Swansea Storm still have a chance with Tedbog still alive and the other player as well, actually picking up 2. And even though they've only got 15 HP, you've got to remember one of them that they're against is the AWP. As Tedbog searching for that kill and actually rips off the head of Einstow, and it's left all on the shoulders of D, and there's quite a lot to do in this one. Sees one and Vorda's out the vent. How's he picked up that kill? And that's 16-11. What a way for Swansea Storm to win.
Those are 2 rounds that the Swansea should not have won. I mean, what can you say? What can you say? Durham, despite looking quite shaky for many rounds, towards the end they were just showing so much potential on that T side, but they lose 2 very crucial rounds, and at the end of the day, that's all it takes. And obviously the fact they only got a few rounds, was it 6.5? Only 6 rounds on the CT side. That is the nail in the coffin. You've got to get more than that, and at the end of the day, that does come back to haunt them. And they will be going down to the lower bracket. Not eliminated, it's double elimination, so they are still in the tournament, but they're in a lower bracket run. As we will, Swansea Storm, Tacos, they will be continuing through in the upper bracket. And I believe if we have a look at the updated bracket, or at least I am, Trent Thunder Diamond have won. They've beaten G12, and they'll be going through, and so have UWEC Stags, obviously quite expected as they are at least the favourite for quite a few people. 16-8 they did win. So mix of results and very close game. I think that was certainly the best game that was so far that we've seen in this semi-finals.
Yeah, it was a superb game coming out from both teams. I mean, they put quite a lot into that one. Of course, there were some difficult points for both teams. I mean, we saw a few mistakes going into that one. One thing that I was going to bring up was that, of course, the outside control for the team that won in the end, Swansea Storm, it was lackluster at best, I think. And a lot of the rounds that they won were rounds that they gave it up or rounds that came out clutch. And I think ultimately, of course, you can say that the CT side wasn't good enough for of course Durham, but at the same time, I think that ultimately they made a lot of mistakes in the late rounds on the T side as well. They didn't show up late round. They allowed the CTs to come into that one with some lucky kills here and there. They didn't play together, and ultimately it's the reason that they lost it. I think on both halves they made mistakes. Of course, we'll see them later down the line, I'm sure. I doubt that they're going to go down in this best of 3 that's coming up after this. Of course, I think we're going to be watching another losers bracket though today. But of course, I think we'll keep our eyes on that matchup, whoever it is that they're playing, and we'll get a very good idea as to what's going on.
Durham, I think, will be playing versus G12 as the current or the next best of 3 that will be coming up. Is going to be Ruskin Ravens versus the loser of Portsmouth Paladins, versus Boo and a Half Men. And Portsmouth Paladins are currently 14-3 up. So it looks like it will be Boo and a Half Men versus the Ruskin Ravens. So we'll have to stay tuned and see if that is a bit of a mix-up. 16-3. Oh, there you go. So it's already over, and that'll be hopefully an interesting matchup between Boo and a Half Men versus the Ruskin Ravens. But I believe in the meantime we'll be going to a bit of an ad break. So obviously shout out to our sponsors, SteelSeries, award-winning gaming gear with a Prime student discount, and Intel, brought to you by Intel 12th Gen, bringing this fabulous fabulous performance and lovely stream here. And well, I believe that's all. It from that's all from us at the moment. Unless you have anything to add at the moment.
No, nothing to add. I think we'll see you guys in a few minutes for our, our best of 3 in the lower bracket. So you got to remember, when we do come back, whoever loses that one is out of the competition. So look forward to seeing you then, guys.